All right. Well, good morning, everybody, and happy March, I guess. Happy early spring. It certainly looks like a spring day today um, compared to the last couple days. So I'm excited for spring. I hope you are too. I just had a Facebook memory today, and I posted it. You may or may not have been able to see it, but I posted that 1 year ago today, my son and I went to a Kings game, got in the arena, we're sitting there getting ready for the game to start, and that's when they canceled the NBA season. So the Kings game, live on television, they canceled it, and that's when the rest of the NBA season was canceled. And then, of course, 2 or 3 days later, I believe it was March 14th or March 16th is when they shut down California. So crazy year that it's been. Certainly, I think we are on the other end of it, and I think there is a bright light at the end of the tunnel. I'm excited about that. I'm going to share some news about that too, and kind of what we're doing around the office as well. So let's just jump into our meeting. Again, thank you, and hi, everybody. There's tons of people saying hello and jumping in. So hello, everybody. Thank you for joining us this morning. Here's the breaking news. Starting next month, we are going to have meetings in every office again. So we'll have our Sacramento meeting, our Folsom meeting, and our Rockland meeting, and we are going to do them in the office. Yay! We'll also do like a simulcast stream. So for those of you that can't come in the office, we're still going to stream it. But for those of you that want to get into the office and kind of start getting back in that swing, next month we'll start that. It will be limited from the perspective of we're not going to allow 100 people in our Rockland meeting, right? We're going to have some like an RSVP sign up sheet. So it will be limited, but we're going to start that next month. We're also going to start our Rev Up trainings next month live in the office, as well as our normal training office or classes. So I'm excited about that. I feel like by May, maybe maybe a little optimistic, but by June, we should be fully back to our normal swing of things in the office. So I'm super excited about that. I hope you are as well. All right, let me just check the chat real quick. Oh, good. Making sure that there was no questions that I was missing. Good, yes, so office meeting is coming soon. You'll get more information on that and how to sign up if you're gonna come in the office. Super excited about that. Okay, I wanted to just kind of this is kind of a new thing we started, and I like it. It's called Meet the Team, and every single month we just introduce you to a new team member. This is Mike Reynolds. For those of you, you should know by now, but Christine, our office manager in Sacramento, has retired. I don't know if she's on this morning or not, but if she is, hi, Christine. She's spending a lot more time with her family and doing a lot of fun things. I saw yesterday or day before yesterday, she's out golfing. So she's definitely enjoying that part of her life. She's still going to be a part of Realty One Group. She's still going to be an agent here. She's still going to do mentoring and coaching with new Rev Up agents, but she's stepped down as her role so she could spend more time doing traveling and fun stuff, which is awesome. We're all a little bit jealous of Christine. But I want to introduce you to Mike Reynolds. Mike Reynolds is our new Sacramento manager. Mike Reynolds has been around the real estate industry for a long time. For the past year, he's been an agent up in the Folsom office, but the previous 5 years before that, he was a sales manager at one of our competitors in the Sacramento market, so did that for 5 years. A lot of you know his daughter from Folsom. She is our admin assistant up in Folsom. Leah Reynolds is Mike's daughter. So we're happy to have another Reynolds join the family. So Mike is our Sacramento sales manager. If you're in the office, out and about, you see Mike, make sure you introduce yourself, say hi. I know he's reaching out to everybody right now, trying to get introductions to himself. So a little bit about Mike, great addition to the team. A lot of new faces. And a lot of new faces since Caitlin left for maternity leave, and now she's back. So Caitlin is our community manager. Just a little quick update. She's been back in the office for a few weeks now. She's still working a couple days remotely. She's probably on here as well. Hi, Caitlin. So Caitlin Smith is our community manager. She does a lot of different things around the office, including some training, new agent orientation. those kind of things. So if you're in the Rockland office and you see that face, that smiling face, make sure you introduce yourself and say hi to Caitlin. Okay, one of the things that is slightly frustrating for you and for us is probably the amount of emails that you see from us. So what's frustrating from us is we get like, oh, I didn't know that happened, or I didn't know we switched to do this, or I didn't know that new form, or I didn't know. And we're thinking, man, we sent you an email, and you're thinking, man, I get too many emails from you. So we've come up with, I think, is a pretty good solution. It's called the weekly one. So we are going to try to reduce the amount of emails that we send you. So I'm going to encourage you to please pay attention to this one. And what we are going to do is create a newsletter type format to get you information. It will come out every Monday. And it will give you all the information that we think that you need so we can try to reduce the amount of emails. It's also going to give you a great, easy place to find stuff. So let me kind of show you the test or beta version of it. It's going to have all the classes coming up. So all the classes for that week are going to be in that newsletter. It's also going to have the direct Zoom link. So it's not going to be, every week we see, hey, where's the Zoom link, or how do I get to that class? Or yesterday, someone asked a question about sync. And I said, oh, there's a class coming up at 11. And the next thing was like, well, where's the link? How do I get to it? So this email that comes out every Monday, it's going to have that information and a direct link right within the email. It's also going to have some other great things. This particular, last month, we had a great class with Bill Angove, and it was videoed. So we'll have this direct link. You can just click on that link for previous classes or previous training episodes. It'll be right there. Also, check this out. Oops, that's all. There we go. Direct link to our Facebook group. Direct link to our calendar, direct link to Help Juice. So every single week, we're going to be sending this out. All those links will be live. No more kind of hunting and trying to figure out where they're at. It's going to be easy to find everything. And then at the bottom of it, everyone is going to be all of our social media links. So you'll be able to quickly, easily find the Facebook pages for all of our offices, our internal Facebook page, our Twitter, our Instagram, all in one email every week. So our goal is to make sure that we're getting you the information that we need to give you, but we're going to try to do it in a really concise newsletter type format to unclog your inbox. And in exchange, we just want one favor from you. Please read it, right? Please check it out. That would be super beneficial. Okay, moving on. Let me just check the chat real quick, make sure there's no hi everybody. Hi, how did that go? Oh, Christine is on there. Hi everybody. Okay, so that's good. So that, watch for that. We're going to start it next week. Should be live, and I think you guys are really going to appreciate it. Okay, just a quick reminder, keep your monthly dues. Let us help you by helping us. Would you like to have all your monthly dues waived for 6 months, a year, forever? You can do that. Simply give us, help us grow, and we'll help you with your fees. So more information, ask any one of our team members. They can help you. And we want to really make sure that we support you like you support us. Okay, $1 Million Club. Love $1 Million Club. It looks like by summertime, we are going to have the hugest $1 Million Club party we've ever had, because we have not been able to have our monthly $1 Million Club lunches. That is a big part of the $1 Million Club, right? So for those people that are new or newer, the $1 Million Club is something that we celebrate all of our agents that did at least $1 million in sales the previous month. We like to do a lot of things with that. We post it on social media. So there's a lot of buzz around our social media posts when we do that. We post it internally. We post it a big sign. We replace a big sign every single month in our offices celebrating the $1 Million Club. We put it on our video marquee. You can see the video marquee behind me right now, and I think it's showing $1 Million Club from last month as we speak. So we post it there. And then we always go to lunch. Every single month, we take the entire $1 Million Club to lunch, but we haven't been able to do that for a year. So my promise has been, and still is, once restaurants open up fully, we are going to have $1 million club luncheon for everybody that's made the $1 million club for the past year. So I anticipate probably over 100 people, but it's going to be fun and I'm excited. So let's get right to it. I want to introduce to you all the $1 million club members for Rockland. We're going to do all the offices. We kind of go through them fast. Sometimes there's actually quite a few of them. This month is absolutely no different. So let's get started. So we have Kelly, Steve, Nick, and Ben. Congratulations, guys, on another great month. We have Nicole, Michelle. Oh, I got to move my screen down here. Sorry. Nicole, Michelle, Devin, Peggy, Alexis, and gosh, I can't see my screen here because I need to reduce this. Hold on one second. So there we go. Okay. Alexis and Chaz, congratulations, every one of you. Great month in February. And I always say, look, if you're making the $1 million club in January, February, March, that means you were working really hard in November and December. Because if you're working hard in November, December, they're closing January, February, March, right? Make sense? Okay, Stephanie, Shauna, Rebecca, Shannon, Courtney, Belle, and Susan, congratulations, you guys. Fantastic month. Lots of success there. Desiree, Peggy, Laura, Tara, Mark, Sheila, Erica, and Rich, congratulations on a fantastic month. And top producer in sales and volume in Rockland, Mr. Brett Freer with 8 transactions, $4.7 million. Congratulations, Brett, and congratulations all Rockland $1 million club winners. Okay, let's keep it going, right? Sacramento. So in Sacramento, we have Inessa, Andy, Chris, Jason, John, and Ron. Congratulations, Sacramento. Great job. And our top producer in sales for Sacramento is Arlene Noah with 5 transactions. And in volume is Audrey Cheney with 2.09 million. Great job, guys. It's unbelievable. And last but not least, we have our Folsom team. Our Folsom crew up there has been doing a fantastic job. And we have Joni and Jackie, and our top producer in sales, Megan Price, with 3 transactions, and volume, Cassandra Nikluski with 1.26 million. So congratulations to everybody that made our $1 million club. We always post the social media stuff a few days afterwards. So if for some reason, and it happens, we missed you and you made the $1 million club, don't fear. Just send Wendy an email. It's wendyf@rogcomplete.com. Just send Wendy an email saying, hey, I noticed I wasn't in the $1 million club. Here's the transactions I closed. We'll get that corrected. So when we do the social media posts, you're there. And when we have the signs printed up and when we do the marquee, like you see behind me, we'll make sure that you're there. So it happens sometimes. Remember, we're pulling data from MetroList, stuff like off-market sales we won't be able to pull that data. Stuff like out-of-market sales will not be necessarily in that data. So sometimes we miss one or two people, certainly not on purpose, and certainly we want to make sure that that we recognize you. Okay, so that's the $1 million club. Let me check the chat line again real quick. Okay, let's see. Oh, Wendy posted her email. Thanks, Wendy. Congratulations. Thanks, guys. Okay, cool. Everybody good so far, I hope? Good, let's keep on going. Teams. You know, we have so many fantastic teams at Realty One Group. If you are a team leader, please send us your production. We want to recognize you here. You guys do such a great job. You support all your team members so well. And oftentimes we have people that are considering moving over to a team. So we want to make sure that you're recognized here. So we have the Cash and Eklund group with 12 transactions. We have the Freer Realty group with 10 and the Perot's group this month with 10 transactions. So congratulations to all of our team leaders and our team members that are doing a fantastic job at Realty One Group. Okay, one of my favorite parts of the morning meeting is our market update. I like to do the research on it. I like to see the numbers. I like to try to break down the numbers. I know for some people it might be a little too much into the weeds. However, I do think this is valuable information that you can be sharing with clients, prospects, family members on social media. Most of the information that I pull is either from MetroList in the trends section. You can pull all these graphs down, or places like SacramentoAppraisalBlog.com. Ryan Lundquist, he always posts some great information. He encourages you to share it. Just make sure you give him props when you do share that. Give him that recognition when you share it. And then other sources as well. So I like this segment of our meeting only because I think it's important. I think it's really important for you to understand what's going on in the market and where that market's going. So let's dive right in. Well, here we go. One of my favorite slides. This slide is a really great snapshot of the entire market. So what we're looking at here is the entire Sacramento metro market. The red line is, you'll see, that's pending sales. Dark green vertical bars sold, and then the light green is our inventory. So I want you just to kind of look back on that slide, back to March and February of 2020. You can see the big dip right there. That's COVID, right? And then you see that sharp upward trend in the market. That was right when we kind of came out of our lockdown, and we all know what happened then. The market got crazy. You can see a downward trend from about June, July towards December, which is normal seasonal slowing, what we see in the market. And then I always ask this question, and inevitably 50% of the people get it wrong. I always say, when does our market heat up? And I'll get like, oh, spring, March, April. No, our market heats up January 2nd, right after the first of the year. So I want you to pay attention to that red line right at about January 21. You'll see it kind of taken off. And once again, we have more pending sales than we have inventory, more pending sales than we have sold. So is this year starting off good? Starting off fantastic. Those of you that are out there very active in the market right now, when I say it's a very active market, you're probably want to punch me in the face, because it's more than a very active market. It's a crazy market. I think it's going to continue. I think we're still going to see a lot of activity in the market. I do also feel that as we come out of the pandemic, more inventory is going to hit the market, so our sales volume is going to increase. There was a study, I mentioned it in our meeting last month. 42% of agents surveyed by CAR, said that they knew somebody that was holding off on listing their home until this COVID thing kind of got crazy. So think about that. 40% of all the agents, I think it was 5,000 agents surveyed, knew somebody that there was a listing coming up. So as we kind of open things up in the community and open things up around the country, I think there's going to be more inventory. That means there's going to be those, if we're having 10 offers on every piece of property that comes out there and we get more inventory, there's just going to be more sales, which means more opportunity. So if you're talking to those listed or the sellers and buyers, this is going to be a fantastic market with a lot of good opportunity. Okay, this chart simply shows dollars per square foot. So you can kind of see that rise in dollars per square foot. This goes back to December 19, all the way up to now, February of 2021. And you can see that kind of steady increase in average price per square foot. So I thought that was interesting. It's always interesting to kind of take a look at that. This one, inventory. You can see a slight increase in inventory from December of this year to now. You're going to see that dip down significantly lower again, because remember that slide 2 slides ago, it showed a significant number of pending sales above what we have in inventory now. So when those all start closing, that's going to just drive that inventory down even low. So you could see December a couple months ago was the low point of our inventory. It hasn't risen much, but I anticipate that kind of dipping and going down a little bit as we get going. I thought this was kind of funny, to be honest with you. I'm sharing this a bit of sarcasm. In case you didn't know, it's a seller's market. And this little graph shows you that. So the average sale to list price is 102%, which means homes are selling more than they're being listed for on average. And this definitely puts us in a seller's market. If you have less than 3 months of inventory, you are in a seller's market. We have less than a month of inventory. We have about 3 weeks of inventory. So we are very, very much in a seller's market. When I saw this, it just kind of made me chuckle. It's like, if you didn't know, Mr. Realtor, we're in a seller's market right now. So I think everybody's very keenly aware of where we are in the market right now. Okay, quick little drink here. Sorry. Man, sometimes I feel like a wind-up doll. I mean, you just wind me up and I'll talk and I'll talk and I'll talk. So, okay. This is one of the graphs that Ryan Lundquist puts out. So thank you, Ryan, and SacramentoAppraisalBlog.com. I thought this was interesting. So this shows price growth from 2012 to 2021, the percent change in the dollar amount. So the top median price in Sacramento County in 2012, 160,000. Today, 462,000. So in 9 years, if you bought that home in Sacramento in January 12, 9 years later, you'd have about $300,000 in equity. So think about that for a second. So you're going to save about, what is that, $40,000 a year in equity growth over a 9-year period. So this chart just, again, shows some of the different counties. Now, if you go to his blog, he breaks it down even further. Places like Antelope, North Highlands, I think Oak Park was 650% change in value. So you can see the growth in the value of our market and where it's going. Here's the craziest thing. Relative to the rest of California, are we still a bargain? You look at prices in the Bay Area, in San Diego, Orange County, a lot of those other areas, you look at those prices, we still seem pretty good. If you want to live in California, not a bad place to go. Here's another thing that I thought was interesting that I think bodes well for continued good market activity. This is Sacramento County job growth. You can see the top there, December 2019 was kind of our peak. And then the first part of 2020 is when we hit the pandemic. And you can see, look at that steep job loss that we had. But I like this because take a look at the recovery. We've already in our market in a year of pandemic recovered about almost half the jobs that we've lost. Once we open up, think about restaurants and concert venues and stadium, all that kind of stuff. When they open up, all those people are going to come back to work. So I think we're going to have a lot of people coming back to work. Interest rates remain low. Housing demand remains high. To me, it's a great recipe for continued market activity. So you should be very, very active in this market. You should be contacting your sphere, past clients, friends, families, educating them about the market, educating them about opportunity, with either taking that equity they have, relocating, moving up, downsizing. There's a lot of things that could be done right now. The greatest quote I ever heard was, no one ever sells a house without having a conversation. So just have lots and lots of conversations. And I think right now, critical to have lots and lots of conversations about the market. All right. When I do my market update, I always like to kind of see what the news is saying or websites are saying or other sources. What are they saying specifically about our market? So here's Redfin. There's been a 70% uptick in users looking to relocate to Sacramento. 70% increase. As more Bay Area residents work from home, moving Sacramento becomes their new home. I love this. What people used to make fun of Sacramento, they still do, because we're a cow town, right? California cow town. But they used to make fun of Sacramento, saying, the best thing about Sacramento is that it's close to everything else. Ha 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 ha. Well, now you know what they're saying? The best thing about Sacramento is it's close to everything. With affordable housing, relatively speaking, to California, great schools, great quality of life, close to Tahoe, close to Napa, close to San Francisco. So it's kind of ironic how that's twisted, right? That's changed. U-Haul, believe it or not, U-Haul has a lot of data on moving. Sacramento region and Redding among U-Haul's top growth cities. So they just track U-Haul rentals. And they know that if there's a massive amount of people renting U-Hauls and the drop-off point is Sacramento, that means a lot of people are moving to Sacramento, right? Here's this article I loved. So let me read this to you. In the last 9 months of 2020, net exits, people leaving San Francisco, were up 650% from the same time last year. So everybody's saying, or what you see in the media, what you hear people talking about, oh, everybody's leaving California. Everybody's leaving California, right? Well, not so much. 80% of those people stayed in California. And I love that only because when people say, well, everybody's leaving California, I go, have you looked around at our market? How come we're having record numbers of sales? We have literally 30% more buyers than we have inventory, but everybody's moving out of California? Not so much. Are people leaving California? Absolutely. Did more people leave out of California than moved in last year? Yes. But there's a massive relocation happening from the Bay Area to our market. And that's one of the reasons why our market is still very, very strong and why it appears that it's going to continue to be very strong. So people are leaving California, just not to the magnitude that the media would like us to believe. And they could just take a look at our market, right? And understand that if everybody was leaving California, our market would be in the tank. It certainly is not. So as I don't know, let me grab the chat box open real quick again, just to kind of double check. And let's see. Oh, Ryan Lindquist blog. Oh yeah, thank you. Many first-time local buyers are screwed. Estella, I guess that's one way to put it for sure. I think there's opportunity though out there. Bonnie, I know I saw a little slack from you. Hopefully you're able to log in and get what's the link called? The presenter link. If not, I guess I'll be doing your slides. You can also log into the backside of Zoom, I think, and grab that link. Or actually, you know what? Keith, could you email Bonnie the presenter link that I sent you? And then she should be able to jump in that way. So, but listen, as I talked to an agent last week, check this out. I felt bad for her. She walked by my office and, I said, hey, how's it going? And she poked her head in and she goes, I'm exhausted. I'm working with 7 buyers right now. And I thought, normally you'd be like, oh, that's awesome, right? But can you imagine having 70 buyers? She said she's writing about 50 offers a week. So she's working awfully hard and not getting quite the results that you would think that you would get if you had 7 active buyers in this market. So I thought about it. I said, hey, why don't I come up with a list of things to do to help get your offer accepted in this crazy market? So here we go. 10 quick tips. I'm going to do a separate video about this too, by the way. I'm going to do a separate video about how this exact topic. So, but at the end of this, little tip, if you're on your phone, just take a screenshot. If you're watching this on the desktop or whatever, just take you can just take a photo or whatever. So here we go. 10 tips to get your offer accepted in this crazy market. Aggressive price, right? That doesn't mean you have to get absolutely banana crazy, but believe it or not, we're still seeing buyers trying to hold their cards back. In this market, you should be educating your buyers that you have to put all your cards out on the table. There's nothing to hold back. You need to be aggressive when you're submitting offers. You have to get your offers in on time. A lot of agents we are seeing, much like in the REO days, they're putting specific seller instructions. This is when we'll be reviewing offers. This is when showings, etc. So if you have a deadline to submit your offer, submit it by the deadline. Right now, we're having a ton of agent complaints from other brokerages complaining that, oh, I submitted my offer and I don't know that your agents reviewed it, and they're a day past the deadline. So make sure you get it on time. Number 3, get your buyers fully underwritten. Whatever lender you're doing, if you're using our great business partners at Movement, make sure that they're fully underwritten. If you're not using Movement, whoever your favorite lender is, make sure they're fully underwritten. And when you submit an offer, have your lender reach out to that listing agent and make sure that they know this is a fully underwritten and approved buyer. So that takes away that risk, right? Remove that loan contingency if they're fully underwritten. But the days of having just kind of a pre-qual, it's going to be tough. You're competing against, you got to put your best foot forward. So fully underwritten. Understand any special terms. What I mean specifically, a lot of sellers today need rent back. It's like the thing to do, right? To rent back. Make sure you have a conversation with that listing agent and understand what special terms that might be needed, and you can write that in your offer. The more items you can put in your original offer that meet the requirements of the seller, you're less likely to get a counter and more likely to just get an accepted offer. And I truly mean that. We're seeing offers that are being accepted with multiple offers and no counters, because it's a lot of time, effort, energy, and work to try to put multiple counters off to 8, 9, 10, 15 people. Sellers are going, hey, this is a great offer, it meets all of our terms, it's a great price, let's just take it. So understand the terms. Try to shorten up the escrow. If your loan is fully underwritten, you should be able to shorten that escrow time, have a conversation with your lender, understanding the only potential issue you'll have with that oftentimes is appraisal, right? Getting the appraisal done in a timely manner so you can meet those guidelines. Right here, aggressive timelines. So this is not only for close of escrow, but this is your inspections, contingencies. Be aggressive with those. Shorten those up as much as you can. Don't make it unrealistic to where you have to go back and ask for extensions, but be aggressive with all of your timelines. Number 7, go with a local direct lender. And I say no big box banks, only because they typically cannot get purchase contracts, purchase loans done in a timely manner. And that's no, I was just going to say, that's no knock on them, but I guess it is a knock on them. But one of the things that I could tell you, back in the REO days when I carried a lot of listings at a time, back in the REO days, I'd have between 20 and 50 listings at a time. So the bulk of my business was always listings. One of the things I looked at was, is the lender a local direct lender? In other words, if there's a problem in that loan process, is it going to be easy to get resolved because there's someone here locally that they can go have a conversation with? Or are they going to be in a queue in some big box bank? And unfortunately, some of those big box banks just don't have, their systems are not set up to close loans in a manner that we need to have them close now. So if I was a listing agent and I'm looking at these offers, I'm going to have that conversation with my seller and go, these right here, online lender, sure that they're going to get a great rate potentially. That's a whole other conversation. But if there's a problem or issue, can it get resolved in a timely manner? So local direct lender, aggressive EMD, you should be putting full 3%, up to 3% of the purchase price as an EMD. If you can, if your client is doing a loan that allows them to do that. That's always been the standard in the Bay Area, full 3%. Here, it's usually been about 1%. There's no reason to hold that back. Again, you're trying to paint the entire picture as best as you possibly can to get your offer accepted, right? I can't tell you this enough. Communicate. I know a lot of these listing agents are getting inundated right now We had someone put the office phone number down on one of their listings, and I think Julie got like 100 calls in 4 hours on a listing. So I know a lot of calls are coming in, but it's important to have that communication. Try to get from that listing agent what kind of special terms does the seller need? What exactly are they trying to accomplish? Again, if you can write that in your initial offer, you're much less likely to get a counter. And if you can just get an acceptance rather than a counter or multiple counter, that's great for you. And then be flexible on your counter terms. Again, when you're having conversations with your buyers should have a very, very clear picture of what the market is right now and how it's going right now. So their expectations are not deflated when they write a really aggressive offer and they don't get it. Your mindset has to be, that's okay, let's go grab the next one. Let's go get the next one. And I've talked to a few. I talked to some agents up in Folsom yesterday and actually in Sacramento yesterday. I hit all 3 offices yesterday. And I talked to a few of them that said, hey, they've been able to get their offer accepted. It wasn't a cash offer. It wasn't, no contingencies, and they were still able to get their offer accepted. Now, I also talked to a couple agents yesterday that were 100, 200,000 over asking, no contingencies, and didn't even get a counter. So I know there's some craziness out there, but there's still, I think, a lot of opportunity. So here's your time. Take a screenshot of this, take a picture. I know it's a lot of common sense, but you'd be shocked and amazed at how many of these 10 little things agents don't do when trying to get their offer submitted, and simple things that can be done that I think can really help and be really beneficial to you and your client. Okay, I'm going to leave you with this. And check this out. I'm going to do a video about this. I'm going to post it in our group. I'm also going to do a video, what happens if you're on the other side? If you're a listing agent right now, what are some things that you should look for in an offer? And why a full price cash offer might not be the best one for your client? Okay, so what most agents ask their buyers is this: how much are you willing to spend on this house? So you're sitting down with your buyer, you're like, okay, they're asking 500,000. How much are you willing to go? Okay, that's not a great question. What you should be asking, what smart agents ask their buyers, is this: at what price are you willing to lose this house? So think about that for a second. If you ask your client, asking price is 500, how much do you want to go? You'll probably get 500, or I don't know, 505, 510. Okay, let's go 510. 10,000 over asking. That's good. That's aggressive. Okay. And then they lose it at 515. And then they go to you and they go, I'm so frustrated and upset. I would have paid 515. And you're thinking, gosh, if you would have paid 515, why didn't you tell me that? Well, because you didn't ask the right question. So not how much are you willing to spend on this house, what price are you willing to just lose this? What price are you willing to say, they can have it then, right? Because then there won't be this feeling of they left something on the table. And remember what I said earlier, you got to be aggressive right now. Buyers can't hold stuff back like, oh, I'm going to leave some negotiating room. There's really no room for negotiation right now, right? Got to be aggressive. So at what price are you willing to lose this house? To me, that's the golden question right there. Okay, I am going to jump in the chat. Ooh, yeah, Bonnie's going to be up next, but I'm going to jump in the chat real quick and just see what's going on. Let's see. Tip number 1, have all cash. Good job, Danielle. Exactly. Okay. Bonnie's in here as Keith. Bonnie, you can change your name. Just, I think it's a right click on Keith's name there. You can change your name to Bonnie if you'd like. Ashlyn, hi. Okay.
I don't mind being Keith.
Okay. Let me see what else is in here. Bonnie, are you willing to, yeah, wow, Keith, you do look cute today. Okay, well, Good. So I hope that you understand what you need to do today. If you have a buyer, you got to be aggressive, communicate, make the offer as clean and simple as possible. Your goal is to not get a counter, just get an acceptance. So with that being said, we have Bonnie up next. Bonnie, as you guys all know, is our training coordinator, and she's really diving in and doing a lot of really good stuff right now. So I'm not going to attempt, Bonnie, to transfer these controls. So just tell me
Good
when you
idea.
want the next slide, and I'm just going to do it. How's that?
Perfect.
Go
How
ahead.
cool is Movement Mortgage? They save your loans, and they also save our Zoom panelists. So first up, we have our Rev Up graduate that happened last month. So excited for Robert Galagaff. And he has completed all his transactions in Rev Up, and now he goes to the no split and 100%, which is super exciting for him. I just also want to give a shout out to his coach too, who is Ed Ross, who coached him through the process. So congratulations, Robert. So excited for you. Next slide, please. This, I want to give a shout out to Chaz. If any of you know Chaz out of the Rockland office, Chaz is in RevUp in his $1 Million Club with his first 3 transactions, all in 1 month. I just think that is phenomenal. And a shout out to his coach, who is Stephanie Ward, who's clearly doing an amazing job with him too. So way to go, Chaz. So excited for you. Our RevUp agents, you are amazing. You are rock stars. You closed nearly $6.9 million last month, and that is awesome. I'm so excited for you. Thank you. I'm looking forward to the next few months to come, and I'm really excited to see where this program is going, and it's all because of you. Next slide, please. So we have upcoming classes. We have some trainings that are exciting to come up. Watch your calendars, watch your the new newsletter that's going to be going out. Check that for all the trainings that are coming up. Of course, we have Rev Up on Tuesdays from 3 to 5, and that will change when we get to do the in-class trainings, which I'm super excited about, to be in class with everybody. And then we have MLS today. Today, actually, that was yesterday. We have MLS on Wednesday at 1 o'clock. Our MLS 101 class, just to go over MLS, how to navigate around it, some little tricks to look up properties and run CMAs and run comps. So Wednesday, 1 o'clock. And then I really want you to mark your calendar. I'm excited for this training that's coming up March 22nd. And at 10:30 a.m., we're having our guest speaker, Joe Rose, and he's our legal counsel. And it sounds like that could be boring, but I've heard he is absolutely amazing. People have been asking for this class. I'm so looking forward to this class. And if you've been to his class before, I know you're looking for it too as well. So it's March 22nd, 10:30. Mark your calendars now, block it out. Don't plan anything that time, be there. Thank you. Next slide. If any of you have been in our One Marketplace, you see we have some amazing vendors in there. We're going to highlight a couple today. This is a Curated Social, and Curated Social is a social media platform that you can use. And what they do is they nurture your audience and elevate your followers. So they'll work at your social media for you, because a lot of us don't use our social media, right? We try to use it, we have intentions to use it, but it gets bumped down last on our list of our tasks to do. So why not have them do it? All you have to do is share now. They'll do all the content for you. So it's really exciting. And then we also have 360 Estate Media, and they do photos of your properties, they do 3D virtual tours, aerial tours. They just do an amazing job. You can check them out on their website, 360estatemedia.com. Both of these vendors are also offering 25% off to all ROG agents. So check them out. And if you need to find out more information, you go to our One Marketplace. If you haven't been there, you can just get there by going to your One browser login. And you can find everybody that I've talked about today and more vendors in there as well. And if you know any vendors who want to be part of our vendor program, shoot us an email because we'd love to have them. And this is a slide that I wasn't ready for. This is where you can find any information that you need to know at the office. Here's some emails for, many people are asking, where do I send my commission demands? Where do I get questions answered about file review? Well, here's the emails that you need. Take a snapshot of this, and this is how you get to everybody you need. Was I supposed to do that slide, Greg? I'm sorry.
I don't know, that I just kind of I tried to throw you a curveball, Bonnie, to see how you'd react. You did great.
How'd I do?
This is usually at the end of Kristen's portion. Those of you guys,
perfect.
most of you know, Kristen's on vacation this week, so she won't be joining us today. And I did notice there was one thing in there that we need to change: the SAC office broker questions. That should be Mike R at ROG Complete. So Mike R at ROG Complete for SAC broker questions. But all of you know, right? You could reach out to any of us, Kristen, Mike, Kevin, myself, or Bonnie. If you have broker related questions, any of us at any office are here to help you. A couple other things: referrals are important. We get a lot of people sending referrals. Hey, Greg, can you sign this? We have a special I guess you would call it, email address for that. And the reason why we do that is so it doesn't get lost. Okay, it doesn't get lost in the shuffle. So referrals at rogcomplete.com, and make sure that we get those done in a timely manner. All right, well, next up we have our business partners at Movement Mortgage. And we have Keith, and he has some things to talk about and to introduce today. So we have so many Keith Collins on the call today. We all use the same link.
I'm taking over the Realty One meeting today. How's everybody doing? Super cool to be here, and I'm excited to get back to the in-person stuff. I think it's going to be really fun to see your awesome faces. It's honestly one of my favorite meetings of the month, and kind of going to all those Realty Run meetings was really cool, and honestly super missed. So I'm excited to get back to whatever form we can of in-person meetings. Did we do it right? Oh, we didn't. Okay. So I got a new announcement today. So what I was saying here is we got Allison. I got Allison's name wrong, and that's totally my fault. Allison, to change her name to Allison Hoffman. So we have Allison Hoffman, but just wanted to really quickly introduce the awesome loan officers that are supporting you amazing realtors within Realty One. We've got Becky, she's here in the top left. She's in the Rockland office. Me at the top there in the center. I'm just kind of everywhere and supporting all the loan officers. Allison Hoffman is actually now in the Folsom office. I'm going to skip that next one. Down on the bottom left, we've got Mark Fulton's supporting the Rockland office. We've got Chris Lee in the Sacramento office right there with the cool shirt with mortgages. And then we've got Randy Carter, who's now, we introduced him last month. He's now in the Rockland office supporting all the Rockland people. But our newest member of the team is Antonio. So Antonio is in the top right-hand corner here. And Antonio is going to be working with Chris in the Sacramento office. And I'm just super excited to have Antonio here. Antonio's been with Movement Mortgage for a while. He's working in our Sacramento suite, which is actually right down the road from the Sacramento office. Antonio's been in the business for a long time, super experienced, just an all-around great guy with an amazing personality. And he's a dude that lights up the room. So I'm really excited for the in-person meetings, because I think it's a place where he'll bring energy, and he makes me laugh all the time. And it'll just be really cool to have him there. So I've got him on the call. I don't know if you take your video off here, Antonio, and just say hi and introduce yourself. There
Hello.
he is.
Can you hear me okay?
Here you go. I got you, buddy.
Fantastic. Well, thank you, Keith. Yeah, I'm super excited. I'm actually physically in the Sacramento office now. 15-year loan rep, born and raised here in Sacramento. Super excited to be part of the team. 2 years here at Movement. I'm excited to help you guys grow.
Super cool. Thanks, buddy. All right, next slide, Greg. And we're going to move on here, and then he's going to help me out with a couple of things. So we always call our rescue loan. So I'm calling it Movement Magic, and I couldn't really find like a Movement Magic. So we ran with this. So one of the cool things that I think that we do at Movement is we rescue a lot of loans for our agents. And it's always a bummer situation to be in, where you're an agent in the middle of the escrow and something goes wrong with the transaction. Never something that you want or anything that we want, but we want to let you know that we do have the ability to save some loans. And we do this through a couple of ways. One, our process, it's very fast. We underwrite loans same day on purchase transactions. We can process them to close in about 7 days, and we table fund. So you get these rescue transactions in, we actually prioritize them. And if we can get them done, we can get them done in 10 to 15 days quicker without an appraisal. And we're getting a lot of appraisal waivers right now. But we're also a no overlay lender. There's really only one overlay that we have, and that's related to credit scores. But what I want to explain from an overlay standpoint is some people's like, how can you do this? Well, or do these loans? What an overlay is basically this. FHA has no minimum FICO score, but most lenders won't go below 580 for a minimum credit score. That's called an overlay. FHA says, we don't care. Lenders say, FHA, you're a little risky over there. We're just not going to go lower than 580. That's about the only overlay that we have at Movement Mortgage, where a lot of other lenders have a lot of overlays on top. So it's not that the lender, oftentimes the loan officer doesn't know that the loan can be done because their guidelines just don't allow them to do it. And it's really because of an overlay. So we had a couple cool transactions that we helped out. Tanya in the Folsom office, she had a transaction with Lennar. This was actually with me. In the middle of the escrow, the Lennar loan officer told them to pay off a bunch of debt. And then a couple of days before closing said they couldn't do the loan because they were having transcripts. So transcript issues, and I know I'm going long here, but I think this is important because we are seeing more of these. It's ticking up right now. When people file their tax returns, most lenders require them to go to the IRS and get an actual verification of the actual tax return filed. That's a problem right now, especially during COVID, because the IRS is super slow. If we have proof that the actual tax liability, if owed, was paid, and then we have proof that the IRS received the tax return, which you get anytime you file the taxes, we do an actual transcript waiver. So we don't need those tax transcripts. So if you ever have a transaction where you're hearing the lender say, hey, we got to wait for the transcript, we got to wait for the transcripts, we got to wait for the transcripts. Movement does not need those. We get transcript waivers. Allison had a transaction in a VA transaction with another Lennar lender. I don't know what's going on with them over there, but where they had employment history issues. We were able to overcome that. And then Antonio had one this month related to credit score with Navy Federal Credit Union on a VA home loan. They just had they had a credit score overlay. So just because the lender says it can't be done doesn't mean it can't be done. It may just be that lender can't get it done. So please think about Movement Mortgage in those situations. This is you, buddy. Antonio, you're up on this one, man.
All right. Thank you. So Mortgage 101, every month we put together through our Agent Marketing Academy, just great little nuggets to freshen up your mindset around loans. And we thought as a team, because we're starting off spring buying season, the market's hot, we're going to do a Mortgage 101 around basic fundamentals of loans, getting an education on FHA, VA, jumbo. We don't expect you to be loan officers, but as a student of the business, you should at least have some talking points with buyers so you're knowledgeable. And if a consumer asks you a question, you can at least point them in the right direction. So Randy Carter is going to head up that at 11 a.m. And if you don't have a link, I believe Bonnie can get that for you. So we're excited to share that information.
I just put the link in the slide, the link in the chat there too. So that's going to start at 11, guys. And the next one there, Greg, what do we got here? That's you too.
Down payment assistance. So I know it can be kind of a bad word right now. Everything's going super hard as far as aggressive offers. Down payment assistance can take a little bit longer. But again, just to my point a moment ago, it's important that you guys have the knowledge and information. So when buyers come and talk to you about down payment assistance, we do it. We do it really well. We're approved with all the programs available. And we've got a cool one coming out through GSFA later this month called Open Doors. And we'll probably cover that a little bit in the Mortgage 101 and then have more information as those get rolled out. So just know if you've got buyers who don't have funds available, we're always going to encourage them to save at least $3,000 to $5,000 just because there are going to be costs associated with the loan. But being knowledgeable on down payment assistance is something that we do, and we have those programs available to you guys.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I mean, some of those down payment assistance programs that we do, like we can close those in 21 days, potentially less, depending on what we've done with the borrower ahead of the time. So it doesn't mean it's going to take 45 days to close it. So, hey, I'm just going to go and Greg, we may toggle back and forth between these next two slides, but I just want to hit interest rates really quickly because I know that's kind of one of the topics of the day. And I'm not going to try to get too technical here, guys, but I just want to explain what's happened and why it's happening. really, so this graph right here is what you're seeing is United States Treasuries. And if you can see this green line that I've kind of drawn across the graph here, kind of going up from left to right, that bottom there is January. And this is about 1/4 to 3/8% increase in interest rates just since January of this year. And then if you can go to the next one, Greg, this is actually going back all the way to August, and August was really the bottom. So August of 2020 was the bottom. And if you see, you can see my original green line that I showed you and how dramatic that increase has been in such a short period of time. And then the longer one that I drew on this, and again, this is United States Treasuries and how quickly they've gone up, but that's about 0.5% to maybe 0.6% since August of 2020. So two things I just want to share with, like, why is this happening? Really, this is happening out of the concern of inflation. So inflation is basically the cost of goods and services going up over time. And what's happened is, and why interest rates go up when that happens, is we step out of a realtor, a loan officer, and a customer role, and we think about the loan itself. This is a fixed investment that someone's loaning for a return. And it's usually fixed over time, right? So if they do a 30-year loan at 3%, that's all they're getting for 30 years if that loan goes to fruition. And if inflation comes in, meaning inflation goes from right now where it's really low, less than 1 to 2 or 3%, meaning over time, goods and services are more expensive, the return that that investor is getting goes down, right? So inflation takes away our buying power. And if you have this fixed investment over a 30-year period of time and you think inflation's coming, well, then you're going to want to offer a higher interest rate to make sure that you still get that net return. So instead of 3, maybe you're going to offer 4 or 5%. So and why do we see inflation? We see inflation because of stimulus. So these stimulus bills, I'm not saying it's good or bad, but this $1.9 trillion in stimulus that's coming, and then everything else that we've done previously, is like crack for the stock market. Like if you've looked at the stock market recently, the stock market's on a tear again because it looks like we're going to sign this $1.9 trillion package. And potentially there's a perception that this influx of money is going to create inflation in the markets. And that's why interest rates are going up. So it's not over, guys. We think interest rates are going to continue to slide up a little bit, and it's going to take some negative news, maybe middle of the year, for them to come back down. I think that we're going to have that because the economy still needs a lot to improve. The stimulus is the reason why we're seeing the stock market do what it is. Without the stimulus, the stock market would not be doing what it is. So I think these are going to come back. I think it's going to be a little bit more towards the middle of the year. But in the near term, I think just letting everybody know interest rates will most likely be a little bit higher than they are right now. And really since August, we've probably seen interest rates go up 0.6, 0.7%. I'll look at the chat. We can go to the next one, buddy. I think this is just a cost of waiting tool. So someone's asking, any land loans? Yes, some lenders are doing land loans right now, but you got to go to your local community banks. So Kim Campbell asked land loans. So, Tri-Counties Bank, a local community bank that's typically within 30 to 50 miles of that property, is the only people right now that are looking at land loans. These are some tools I just wanted to share to help you get buyers off the fence. And we have these, every loan officer supporting the Realty One account has these. And it's really what we're trying to show here is a cost of waiting calculation. So we're seeing some buyers say, well, I'm just going to wait and save more money, or I'm just going to wait for this market to turn, or I'm going to wait till I make more income. And what we're trying to show them is, like, potentially if this market continues to do what it does, interest rates go up and home prices go up, it's actually going to cost you more money over time than what you think you're going to save if you save more for a down payment. So just looking at this, waiting 6 months, where is it right here? The net property value, 521 based on a 4.4% appreciation. In a year, 535, in 2 years, 567, in 3 years, potentially 602 if this market continues to do what it's doing. But the next slide is really where it kind of points out the differences. Can you grab that, bud? Next slide. Here it goes. So this is actually showing the total cost of waiting over time. So someone based on interest rates increasing and just 4.4% appreciation, and we know we're seeing more than that right now, and this is specifically for Placer County, if someone waited just 6 months, it's going to be $26,000 more expensive based on amortization and an increased interest rate and a higher purchase price just in 6 months. $44,000, and this is based on a $500,000 purchase. $44,000 in a year, $86,000 in 2 years, potentially $131,000 in 3 years. So we can do this really quickly for you to help you guide some conversations with buyers that you have that are maybe concerned. I got one more slide, I think, at the end of this. And then this is just in cash flow. So what this is actually trying to show them is their actual monthly payment, because most people are concerned about payment, right? How is my payment going to be impacted? 6 months, $91, 1 year, $244 more dollars, 2 years, $454, and 3 years, $764 difference. If we just see kind of the trajectory that we're seeing right now in monthly payments. So I think that's the reason why maybe some people bear with where they're at this marketplace and potentially still buy. So all that, I hope that helps. We can get you this information. Can someone put these graphs? We can access to them. Yeah, I'll give these to Wendy and to Bonnie, and she can share those. Those ladies can share those. But we can do this specific for your buyer. So if you're a buyer in the $450,000 price range or $550 or wherever it's at, it literally takes us minutes to put these together. And these are great visuals for your buyers. So please just reach out to any one of the Movement Mortgage Loan Officers. We would love to get these tools in your hands. And then the last one is Antonio. He's going to wrap it up.
Awesome. Thank you, Keith. So our marketing department puts these together. You'll probably see these floating around your guys' office. They're just jam-packed with great content, information, scripting, pop-by ideas. It's like all of these are custom branded to all of us, but there's new information every single month. So pick it up. You're going to get some good little nuggets to implement in your business. And, you know, we're here to help you guys out.
Hey, Antonio, can you hold that book up again? I like that character of you, dude. Look at that.
Yeah, in fact, we've got a great team. They're based out of, I think, Tennessee. So if any of you guys are interested in even getting a caricature done, we can do this for you. We can help you set that up.
That's awesome. Awesome. All right. Thanks, Antonio. And welcome, man. Welcome aboard.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah, you're so welcome. So I just wanted to wrap things up. There we go. We'll stop screen share. Hey, everybody, we got out basically on time because we started a little bit late. I hope it went to Facebook. I don't know if it did or not. There was a ton of people on this call though, which is fantastic. Thank you for the participation in the chat. That's super, super helpful. Hopefully you guys learned something today. Next month, start watching for it. Start watching for those RSVP signups for our meetings and sales training as we get back to live classroom stuff. So with that said, I just want to say again, thank you guys so much for coming. Thanks, Keith. Thanks, Antonio. Thanks, Bonnie. Thanks, everybody. And we'll see you guys later.
Bye. Have a great day.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye.